So today I'm going to do things a little differently. Today I am going to show you how I fussy cut my images. And I found this on the dining room table the other day and Johnny said I could keep it. So this is the USF, we get this because he has a season tickets to the games. So we're going to start pulling some pictures and I'm going to tell you why I think they're good pictures to do. Okay, so to do cutting on, not just to use for art. So number one, this lady's hair is going to be very easy to cut out, right? That isn't somewhere you have to do really fussy cutting. We're going to be able to get a bunch of different parts of her cut out so that we can make a collage with her. This guy would also be pretty easy to cut out because you could just go around the outside of his shape. All right, now let's start looking for some things. All right, this gal has a really cute face. She has a really cute face, but they're a little small for what we're doing today, right? If we're thinking about having to cut things out, we could probably cut around her face pretty well, but this is going to be, like, you're going to have to use teeny tiny scissors, and you're going to have to be very careful. We don't want that. Ooh, magic. It says magic. Oh, this. Okay, so I seen this in here. Look at how cool that is. It is a love sign. So we're going to, the kids at the college must have made it. We're going to cut that out. Boop, boop, boop. And I don't care what's on the back. I love that sign. Okay. This would be a good words to cut out because you just have 4 straight lines, right? That's really easy. I don't know if I need a car. These are all just really little people. I would never cut those out. We may come back for these because these can often be good, like fun images for the background. This, you can look at this, and when I first started, I would look at this and go, oh, that would be really cool to cut out to have some texture. But I don't know that it would really add anything to a design. And it's like, see how these angles are in the knots and things like that? If you didn't have all that in there, it wouldn't look cute. So what's the point, right? Oh, these are great faces. They're kind of small. Look at these kids. Oh my goodness. They're such babies. Look at all those. They may be good. I might keep this for my small book, but this is probably as small. Okay, so see how this lady's head is about this tall. It's twice as big as these little faces. So he could be okay because he's pretty simple. She could be okay because she's pretty simple. But if we get down to these guys, this gal's face truly is only that big. This gal's face would work, okay? So these are 2 great bodies. We're going to take those out for them. And then we're going to have the pretty brown for the border too. I might just be using this lady with her head, with her big head on her head. Okay, here's a guy. He's going to be great because look at his, he doesn't have weird hair or anything. So if you have trouble, like one of the gals said that she shakes and I shake too, because I have bad wrists and I work on the internet all day. If you have bad wrists, don't pick pictures. That's really pretty. We might grab that to do some border. I'm not doing the project with you. Okay, this gal's eyes. So we'll do this one to do something a little smaller so I can show you how I do that. Okay. Ooh, this is beautiful. That's kind of that same brown color. Okay, this lady, a lot of times what I'll do with the gals that wear the headscarves is I'll go around and cut out the headscarf too. right? Not just her face, but the headscarf too. Now, the nice thing about this is you don't actually know where on this, like if I cut into here, nobody's going to go, oh, I think you cut off that headscarf. It's just not something that people will notice. It's just not a thing. That gal, we're starting to get into bigger, fluffier hair, right? Now, I'm not judging because sister likes a nice fluffy head of hair. I'm an 80s girl. Okay, go Bulls. Okay, oh, that is going to be good for our border when we get there. I just love these little rugby guys. All right, we're going to take them out for a border. We're going to... And see, like with this, I like a guy or a gal with a interesting face. That's why I like getting these other magazines. Not just a face that is, you know, perfect. A lot of the people in the magazines have perfect faces. I like a face that's fun. Like this. Ugh. Ooh, this is really stuck on. This gal is gorgeous and has a pretty face, right? She's graphically pleasing to me. Okay, let's real quick go through. Did we see some other brown or did... Oh, that's what I wanted right there. Oh, here. If you're going to do a border, like you want some fun stuff for the border, this could be really cool because you could cut straight lines, right? And not really have to do too much. So let's take these things out. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, I'm going to put that right there. It's sticky now. All right, and I'm going to show you how I cut things. Now, I only like to show you things that I'm an expert at or how to do things that I'm an expert at. Usually I just show you what I'm doing. But I feel like after having spent a lot of time, this thing is going to be a trouble. So, number one, we're going to cut off this sticky bit, right? So, whew, that was a close one. So this is how I pull all the magazine pieces out for you. This one's sticky too. Oh, once we pulled the cover off, it made all my pages sticky. Okay. So I go back into my bedroom with this stack of things cut out. So the first thing I do is I find the stuff that I was going to cut out. And I just go there. Now, I want to show you something because it'll be good on this one. These are good scissors. They're super sharp, okay? You need to buy a pair of really sharp scissors and then murder your children if they use them. What you want to do is cut as long as you can in a straight line. So see, I'm going to cut off this edge as long as I can in a straight line, straight ahead. Long, straight. And then I just push my scissor up into here. So if we do that same thing, long, straight, we can get way more than halfway. Push my scissor up into here, long, straight, okay? Not very straight. It's kind of a drunk sailor. But if you're doing this, right? If you're doing this, and then you're coming back in, and you're doing this, and you're coming back in, and you're chopping, it looks straighter. It's not true. You're going to wind up with a lot more jaggedy bits. It's really hard for me to make jaggedy bits now because I'm an expert. But take my word for it, you're going to get jaggedy bits. Do we want that little bit of fun? Yeah, let's take this too. Okay. Okay. So straight. And I always cut straight ahead. So I don't want that Beck thing, whatever that Beck thing is. I don't know what that means. So up, straight ahead. And don't worry, I have lots of good tips. I'm not just going to teach you to cut straight, although that is one thing you can do. Okay, so we're going to get our side panels that we're working on. the fewest cuts I can make is what I want to try to do, because you can mess up your cutting, right? So these are just going to go on the border of my magazine collage, just some nice pieces. Okay, now, and I throw away everything else because you could wind up keeping everything. Now this gal, I like to do ones where I make paper dolls of their necks. So I'm going to keep her neck, and I'm going to come here. I'm going to come around here. Boy, her necklace gives us a really good place to know how far I want to kind of go down. Just take this out, and we're going to set that aside for a minute. I don't need anything else. This one, we're back to straighties. This is going to be for my border. So we're just going to come along here. Long cuts, pushing it against the thing. And you'll see that you'll find you can get yourself right into that channel of cutting, and you don't have to. Now that's a bad idea, right? Like number one, I'm not cutting straight anymore, right? I angled myself all like this with the paper. Now it's a very small area, and it's a very unimportant piece. But if I was doing that, cutting this lady out, I could really mess her up, and it would just be because I was too lazy to turn the paper. Okay, so on this one, we're going to take all this kind of stuff. I love that pattern. It's gorgeous. We're going to cut like this. There we go. And then on this, a lot of times I'll leave this piece big. Well, I guess I could have cut a little bit there. It wouldn't have mattered. But I leave this piece big because it could be that I want to make 3 little skinny pieces once I get to the borders, because I'm running out of stuff to use. Oh, see, I got off track. So then I would actually come back down here and start this again, rather than trying to take that off track route. Okay, nothing on the back. I always check. Okay, now we have 2 little people. So we're going to take his head and his neck, because I like to put I don't want to have to draw necks because I'm lazy. So if I can get his neck out, that would be great. And then I'm just going to use her glasses. I'm not going to use her whole face. So what I will do is I will just cut way further down than I'm going to, way further up than I'm going to, and take her glasses out. And we're going to put that over there. She might be okay. I don't usually use tipped faces. I like faces that are facing me. All right, this guy's got a good neck. So we're going to take him down to his neck. If I didn't have good, I might still take a little bit of this. So the first thing I do is I get whatever, and I don't care if I'm choppy on this, but I still move the piece of paper, not my scissors, okay? I feel like this is kind of a pretty piece right in here with his jacket. We'll put that over there. All right, what do we got here? Now we have some yellow and yellow. I'm thinking I could take a little bit of this. Just in case I need it, right? And just throw that over. So when I'm doing, you'll see that. When I'm doing my borders, a lot of times I'm putting stuff together. Okay, I am going to keep these 2 together for my collage. So, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to chop this piece of border off because I really like it. Okay, just toss this over here. And then we got another nice piece of border over here. They just sent this out. I wonder when they took this picture, because that's a fall picture. She has a fall wreath on her door. Might have been from last year, because We are in the summertime here in Florida. Okay, and then we have this piece, but I don't want to get too close to him, right? Because we're going to go and use his body. All right, always straight ahead. It's straight ahead from me. And I don't care if I use too long a thing, but because I'm really good at cutting. And this isn't the important part. Okay, so now I just want to do this. I'm just going to go around these guys, get that off, get this off. They go over there. This goes over here. This is so cool, but this is big, right? So this thing, I would come and I'm going to cut long forward up here. And then I'm going to cut right there. And then I'm going to cut long forward. And then I'm going to cut there. And I'm going to come up here. Long forward there. And then I'm going to come up here. And I can't do this easily because I want to get as much of this paper taken away from it as I can. And I don't know if I'm going to leave these little people on this love or not. So I'm right this second. So I'm just going to cut this off. What you want to try to do is get the paper. Ooh, do we need that? I don't think we need this on the heart. I'm not going to try to manage that. So I'm just going to take this L. Okay. Now when I got to here, I saw, oh, I have a straighty I can do. I have a straighty I can do. Then I'm going to come down here. You see I'm shaking, right? All I have to do is control right here and try to keep that straight. I was going to show you how you can use an X-Acto knife, but I find that's even worse for my shaking, like trying to push an X-Acto knife. So I don't think that's the answer for us. Okay, so for this lady, I want two things. So I'm going to come around her head real big. Boop, boop, boop. All right, and then I want to come in here, and I'm still at the back of the scissors. I want to cut out down here. And I think these two little swaths of her dress are going to be really cool somewhere. They're going to be pretty. We can add something to her look. And they're going to be easy to doodle because they already have circles on them. So then maybe my doodling is all based on little circles. That's a lot of times what I'll do with my doodling is pick something out that's already in there. Now this is the cover. I am finding it much harder to cut the cover than to cut little pieces of magazine paper. So if you're shaky and your hands hurt, don't use the covers, use the inside pages, right? Most covers are not this high quality. They put out a really high quality magazine, I have to say. Okay, and I would never say put out a lesser quality magazine and all that, because we have our season tickets to support our local college team. Johnny and I always do that. So I don't mind that we're financially secure. Okay, now we're getting to this end. I don't want to cut her hair, right? Okay, there we go. So that's cute too. So we're going to put those in our pile. We're going to cut this off. We're going to cut, like that's a good place to cut. We know it won't be longer than that. All right. Now, let's cut something easy. We're going to go with this guy and how I would cut him. So if you make paper dolls the way I do, you want to have a little bit of a neck because you might stick his neck into somebody else's sweater. But you're going to come up here, same straight ahead. Now I'm using snips. These are smaller scissors. And I have all kinds of snips. I have a blue pair too. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let's use them all. But I like these the best before I found the Tim Holtz the best. So it's not, it's a little bit the scissors, but mostly it's how you do it. So I get my grandma glasses on, and I'm just going to come long, straight cut, move it ahead, keep pushing it to there, okay? And I don't worry about doing his ears perfectly. I kind of just even go a little on the inside of his ears, because look, he has a crinkly ear. Couldn't care less. Because you're going to make him into something super fun, and nobody's going to be looking at his ears. Nobody's going to be, you could even switch back. If the little scissors hurt your hands, you could switch back to the big scissors to do this, right? And then just go over here, boop. And then come back in with your little scissors. So you're gonna go straight ahead from you. Cut as far as you can cut. Push it in. Straight ahead. Oh, I cut off his earlobe. You guys think I'm a good cutter. I'm not a good cutter. I mean, I'm a professional cutter. But I just don't care. Like, you don't know if his ear was shaped like that. Look, I cut off like the whole bottom lobe of his ear. Nobody knows. Okay, this lady is exciting because look at her. So we're going to come up here because I need to leave her a little bit of neck, right? And then we're going to give her a little bit of a facelift because nobody likes to have extra chins, me especially. And then we're just going to come around here and I'm going to cut straight. But see how I'm moving the paper and leaving the scissors straight? And I can come right up here, right around here, all the way back in, scissors straight. Okay, and there's a good break right there. That's a good place to reset my scissors and come back in. All the way. I'm just keep going forward, forward, forward. And then slide it down. Okay, we're going to have to figure out what's going on here with her earring. Okay, so we're going to come down here. And I'm just going to go out. Because, look at that. If we want her two sides to look right, we probably have to get this little, so now I'm going to get my baby scissors again, get this one right, and then come along, maybe give her a little facelift, and then turn and go down. Okay? So she's good. All right, let's do these baby ones. So this guy, we're going to come up to his jawline, cut up to his jawline. We're going to go forward. I'm not going to mind the place between his ear and his head because he has a very small head, right? I'm just going to go around his head. I think now that I'm thinking about this, this would be very hard to do with big scissors. So if you're going to do magazine collage and you're going to try not to be shaky or not to have shaky cuts, then you need to have, I use snips, but any tiny scissors here, let me use a different kind. These are Bumblebee. I don't know what these are called. These are Bumblebee. I'll look them up. Don't worry. But they're oh, those are very sharp. These are not serrated, so they just slide along. These are serrated, so I feel like they give me a little bit more control of my cuts. But I don't know if that's actually true. So there. They're just the ones I use all the time. Okay, now we're going to do this gal's glasses. So I can't see very well, but I know where her glasses are. So I am going to go a little bit outside of them. See how there's a little edge around there? Because I'm going to outline these in black anyways. So I don't want to cut right on her glasses, or I could risk cutting them off. And I'm just turning the paper around my scissors. Now I have to guess this, kind of tip it. I just know what glasses look like. And I like when they have like little wings on the side, like the Ray-Bans. I'm going to go a little over her glasses because I always outline in black. Now, if you don't outline in black, you may have to cut better than I do, but I just do that, and then we're going to cut this off straight. And then, here we go. We could put this girl's glasses on this man head, and how cute is that? I think that's adorable. So I'm going to put that on right now because I have a whole bunch of pictures over here for my mini book, but the chances of me losing these little bitty glasses are high. So we're just going to stick those on right now. Boop. Oh, that's cute. That is cute. Okay, I'm going to put that over with my mini book stuff. Okay, now let's think about this one. So, number one, there is a line right here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a line that this is sitting on. So if I'm not going to keep the kids in there, let's see. Oh, the L is very, very covered with kids. I think I'm going to have to paint. I'm going to probably paint those in or put something over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right along this line for the L and just cut straight across. I'm going to cut straight up where that is. We're going to have to, like, okay, so the angle is kind of this way, so we're going to make us an angle like that, okay? And now we're going to come up here. And on this one, I'm probably a little bit inside the line because there's like a weird painty, bumpy bit. I'm not going to do that. That's too much. Nobody would ever notice a weird painty, bumpy bit when I'm making me some strange people. Okay, so now we're going to come along here over the L, or the O. We're going to come along here, and it looks like it would be right across the top of here, right? So we're going to come just down there. We're going to come up here. We're going to reset to get this one, because they probably aren't exactly the same, even though they look like they're the same. Okay. A trick I do is I don't cut all the way across the bottom. So watch. I'm going to come, let's use these ones, these fancy ones. I'm going to come down here because this won't cut the image apart. And you'll see me do this a lot with their, if they have really long legs and I'm doing their legs or their arms, I'll leave something hooking them together because it keeps them together. And then I don't have to, oops, I got off the line. So come back and start again. But see, I'm going to leave them hooked together right there and then just cut them apart when I'm ready to stick them down. All right, so we're cutting straight around this curve. I'm going to cut that lady with a baby off. There we go. I don't need that shadow because it's not going to add to my design. Oh, this is a good one for you. Okay. So we're going to come along here. Oh. I'm feeling like a big scissor would help me get across the top. We're going to turn. And then I'm going to go straight down. Because I'm not going to fuss with that little tiny piece that was on the other side. Okay, so we got this so far, right? This is kind of cool. And that's how far we've gotten. Now there's a couple more things I'll do right now. I'm not going to do this part because that's just 2 straight cuts I can do later. But I could do this part, right? Get this angle up, turn my paper straight, come back, go that way, go back, and then go back. So I guess I wouldn't have been able to tell you this, But if there's a bunch of straight cuts, I will do them all in first, and then I will come and do all the other straight cuts vertically. So I did all the horizontal straight cuts first. I don't think about cutting my stuff, you guys. I just sit there and I cut for hours, right? Okay, here's a good tip. So when I do something like this, especially if we have a nice big open area, I will take a big old honk out of the middle of this open area. Okay, so I'm just gonna come in here, and I would probably, I don't wanna get too close because I'm not trying to cut it out. I'm just trying to make myself a hole. Okay, so there's a hole for us. And then I will come up, and I'm right-handed, so I always cut the right things with my right hand. So I'm going to come up here, right hand, right hand, right hand, right to there, okay? Now, if I was going to try to cut this back this way, or even if I was going to come in here and cut this way, the scissors are over where I'm cutting. I can't see where I'm cutting anymore. So I will always turn this around because my sight line is right here. Okay? I will always turn this around so that I can see what I'm cutting and also that I'm cutting it right-handed. If you are left-handed, they do have left-handed snips, I know. I don't know if they have other left-handed scissors, but you're going to want to do this exactly opposite, and I cannot show you that because we can't help what handed we are. There's nothing wrong with it, but you would be fighting all the stuff, I feel like. I don't know if there's a difference between left and right-handed snips. I almost feel like, but with any of these, I almost feel like you could figure, because they're not intricate scissors, right? Like these are intricate scissors that have a big holy and a bit little holy. All these guys are just the same. So if you find it uncomfortable to cut with them this way, flip them over, and then I bet you they would be easier to cut with the other way. None of these guys are fancy. Okay. They're all about $12 or $15. Okay, I feel like, I got off track. I got off track talking to you lot. So I'm going to go a little bit in, but I'm going to have to go back and cut that. Okay, but I'm not going to worry about it at this point. We're going to go and get this cut finished. There we go. That's all cut out. But now I have a little bit of thing there. So number one, I would probably always come in at this point. I'm going to come in from the top. I'm going to back up a little bit. And I'm going to cut it. Now, if you have really, really shaky hands or you have trouble seeing, I would literally just color that white with a Posca pen, right? And that's not perfect, but I'm going to say this 1,000 times today. Nobody will notice.
Whenever you finish.
Oh, it's dinner time. Okay, I got to go have dinner. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Oh, gosh darn it. I forgot to close up my glue. And you're going to be very jelly because me and Johnny and Josiah had, well, broccoli, but it had cheese on it. It was very nice. And then wild rice and salmon, so it was delicious. Okay, so let's talk about if you're good at cutting. So you can come here and go and do every single little turn and cut in his pants, right? If you got shaky hands and you're not so great at cutting, you can just go right up this leg. Boop. See how there's a little extent? I don't think that's the word, but it seemed like it might be the opposite of an indent, right? You could try to cut all of his little fingers perfectly, or you could just do the best you could. Oops, I cut off part of his finger. Now, would you ever know, here, see, finger. Would you ever know that part of his finger is gone? Absolutely not. So I think part of the gals who are having trouble, and I just keep going straight ahead, turning the paper, pushing my scissors to the front, right? But I think that, and what we're going to do is this, because let's check our heads. Our heads, we're going to put her big head on here, and then we're going to put this guy's big head over here. So I have a neck for him, so I'm just going to cut this guy's head off. So we're going to come up here, and then I'm going to use the pointy part of my scissor right here, but I'm still going forward, right? And then I'm not going to try to come this way because I'm not, like, as a right-handed person, that wouldn't work. I'm going to turn the paper, come up here, and then head on down over here. And she has a neck too, so we're going to cut out her neck hole too. All right, so here we go. And they're touching, so we're just going to come right here. And we're going to come and get her collar. And I'm not exactly sure where her collar is, and it kind of doesn't matter. I know you're going to get sick of hearing me say that. But then we're going to come over here, boop, up here. Somebody told me I say boop a lot. So I asked Johnny if I say boop more than normal people, and he said, yes, I say boop more than normal people. So we're going to keep cutting. I'm sorry there's not much contrast here for you to see. I'll try to zoom in when I edit so you can see this. But I'm not going to get all freaky about going in and out on her arm. And then, so what I was saying is, it's so funny when I'm editing. I'm like, are you ever going to get to your point? What I was saying is, I think that some of you gals are really hard on yourselves about your cutting skills, and what you're doing is you're almost sabotaging. So I'm just going to come down here, right there. I'm going to have one little innie for her skirt. That's all I'm going to care about. Then I'm going to come down here. Oh, here's another really good tip for you. Okay. I'm going to tell you the tip, and then I'm going to keep talking about what I was talking about. Okay. And she does not have pantyhose on because people here in Florida do not wear pantyhose. It's not a thing. Okay. Now, see, I could try to cut out that little tiny heel, but what I'm going to do, off with your heads. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come over here right like this and make a platform heel that I'm going to paint in, which if you didn't have Posca paints or anything like that, you could use a black ballpoint pen and fill that in if you wanted, right? So this isn't about being a good cutter and trying to make that little thing show up. This is about making a fun overall picture rather than trying to be the world's best cutter. Okay? Now we're coming up on here. There is a little part in between here. If you have super shaky hands or you can't see that, let me show you what it would look like if we just went across here. Right? Now, I'm gonna cut down to here. So there is a pretty big dip in his pants. So we're gonna come in the dip. We're gonna come out of the dip, but we're not gonna worry about all those wrinkles. I like a cuff. You know, I like the color of cuff. So I'm gonna do his cuff. We're gonna come down here. Okay, now, we did not cut out her skirt, right? And we'll talk about this lapel, the lapel. So we did not cut out her skirt, and we'll probably talk about cutting his lapels off, right? Because we want him to be kind of cute like this. But as you're looking at this, is what jumps out at you the fact that this did not get cut between her skirt? So there's a jag and an in. So say even I just don't do the jag. I just make these straight cuts. Straight. Straight. I'm not even cutting along the rounded line. Okay. You would never notice that. So I think a little bit of it is setting your sights on being perfect at cutting, rather than setting your sights on what is your overall design going to be. So I do like their cuffs, so I'm going to cut in his cuff. But then the rest of this, I'm just going to go straight up. I'm not cutting all those wrinkles out. Then there's an angle. Then I'm going to go straight up again. Okay. And you might come over here and try to cut like this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to turn this over. And I'm going to cut along here because I can see it. I'm going to do the best I can do. It's really hard for me to see it because on my side it's glary. It's either you get glare or I get glare. We're going to come around here. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, I said boop again. Darn it. Johnny's right. And then we're going to come around here. And we're going to do good enough. There we go. Good enough. Yay, me. And we don't have eyes to put on them, so I'm going to, this is going to be for my real journal, so I am going to cut them eyes, but we're going to put their heads on. So I left all that neck so that I would have the ability to put her head on, right? So we're going to tip her head a little bit. But this part right there is messing me up. So I'm just going to go straight across like that. There. Now her head will fit on better, right? And then I feel like this little bumpy up part, even though, yes, that's how her actual, dress was, sweater was, but it's not adding anything to my collage. So now I might have to pin this because, use a pin to open it because I let it sit. Oh, no, of course. Nouveau glue for the win. So I just want her to have enough neck. Her little head's going to tip sideways. Can we pull that up? There we go. I want her to have enough neck showing right here so that I can, because I'll come back in and cut that up. And now I think I glued her to the back. There we go. Okay, so is she going to be my front person or is he? Oh, he's going to have to be my front person. Okay, so him, I want to get his head tipped over here, right? So if I want to get him tipped over here, I am totally going to have to just chop off the points of his collar because that ain't working for us. There we go. And I think that's going to be about the best we can do. We can move his head over a little. I don't want him messing her up too much. Can we go higher and give him a really, I think I'm going to go higher and give him a really long neck, like a funny, creepy neck, so I can tip his head. So we're going to do that. All right. And we're going to glue this in, and don't worry because we're going to have time to cut this out, and I'll show you how I cut this out. Since this is a cutting video, but we can't cut wet glue. It's a rule. Okay, this gal, this is that heavy back cover, right? So I'm going to come right up here. There is no way in God's green earth. I mean, I might try to cut out the whole ring. And I've done that before. I did it once with a Jennifer Lopez picture I did. So I might try to cut out this whole ring because I'm an expert cutter and I can kind of run right along that edge of that silver. And then what I would do is I would paint that with Posca pens. But to me, that winds up looking like she has two weird orange ears. So if I want her to have giant, if I want her to have giant hoop earrings, I'll just draw them in. Now, once I take those hoops off, if I cut around this ear, it's going to look like she has some weird bulbous thing sticking out. So now that ear is gone. You don't get to keep that ear. We're not playing with that ear. And then we're going to get her sunglasses. So, if you have problems cutting, you'll see I put new sunglasses on that tiny little person. But if you have trouble cutting, then instead use this gal as one of your people who already has cool sunglasses on, and give her fun hair, right? Like, we all have limitations. I have such a cool, remember I did that one with the red dress as her hair? I have another cool red dress piece. Hold on, let me see. Ooh, I have this too. Okay, so I could take something like this and make it her hair and put a hat on her, and then I don't have to try to cut out her sunglasses or get all fancy with my cutting. I'm just working within the boundaries of the limitations I have with my being able to cut, right? So that to me is another art form, is to say, okay, my hands shake, I have trouble cutting, and I'm still gonna make amazing artwork because I'm gonna find people like her who will make an amazing look. We could put her right on this body and then cut her neck where it's supposed to be, and that would be fine. It's almost perfect, right? So she would have a really wide neck. I tend to like a skinny neck. So I'm probably going to put a big giant person on here. But could we do this? Okay. So if we were to do this, I would just cut the shoulder this way, right? I would make, oh, that kind of works, right? Except for in my world, I make their heads way bigger. But I could totally cut and make a shoulder here, and then I wouldn't have to try to cut a skinny neck. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, last bit of cutting, and then I'm going to go play with my own collage. So I always do this. I come over here to her collar. I come down her beautiful neck, give her a little facelift here. Wish life was that easy. And then I'm just going to cut straight down to put her head on her thing. See how beautiful her neck looks? Okay, and so now on this side, I want to make her neck just a little bit skinnier because it goes into his shoulder. So this isn't going to be right anyways. So we're going to see how we like the way her neck goes. I think I want it to come up straight a little bit more, so I turn it the right-handed way, right? Oh, I like that much better. So she has kind of a funky little neck. He's for sure going to have a funky neck. So we're going to come down his chin line and then down to where his collar is. Boop. Oh, I booped again. Good Lord, people, you got to tell me when I'm booping all the time. Maybe I'll just edit them out. You'll never know I boop a lot. Oh, this is actually her collar. I don't like that for her. So I'm just going to cut that in there so that her neck comes right down there. And I'll probably color that a little bit because there's something weird going on, probably her name. But I need her, like, I want her head neck to look good. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to take just a wee little bit off. And I take a little bit off, and then I come back. And I take a little bit off, and then I come back. Okay, I like that. I think that goes good. I like his left neck. But now I have to come over here. I'm going to go right-handed way. I'm going to come up to his chin line. And I could do this. So I think one of the things that would really help is I could totally do this with big scissors. And then I'm going to kind of give him a jaw and angle it over here. There we go. Oh, he looks cute. I could do it with big scissors, but look, see how I got a little pointy on the side of his face? It's just easier to do some stuff with the little scissors. You have a more control. So let's revisit what we did. We have these people. We have our love sign, right? I'm going to make a beautiful design with this. We have borders, and we have some fun, funky things. So there's maybe enough for a page. There's maybe not enough for a page. Maybe I'll have them part way up. I don't know what's going on yet. Maybe I'll have him, oh, how fun is that? Can we do it so it's not quite, like, can we mess around with her coming out of the love? Right? So we could mess around with something like that. But the thing to remember is that you don't have to be a perfect cutter, right? Like we could do this and have it like that so that it's all love. You don't have to be a perfect cutter. You just have to be an okay cutter, and then focus on the design you're making with your, focus more on your design, and then pick images that match what your cutting ability is. So hopefully that helps. Tara Jacobson, Artsy Fartsy Life.